Okay, I assume you have read and worked the problem. This clearly is a number 6 in the AP test. Remember, number 6 is always a Maclaurin-Taylor series, some sort of series question. And they're usually not bad. They're usually not that hard. A lot of people don't get to them because they're number 6. But let's go ahead and jump in because I think it's definitely a doable one. Part A is very straightforward. Use the ratio test to find the radius of convergence. Okay. Now remember, before we jump in order for it to converge, the absolute value of x must be less than 1. We will use that in a minute. Okay, so the ratio test, this is part A, says the limit n approaches infinity. Absolute value of the n plus 1 term divided by the nth term. So when I add 1, let's see, I'll get negative 3. The n plus 1 will just give me n, right? N plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 1 times x to the n plus 1. I'll go ahead and put that all in one fraction. Divided by the x to the nth terms, I'm going to go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So that'll give me an n on the bottom, and then negative 3n minus 1 x to the n, the denominator. Okay, so let's clean that up. Now, when we divide these two, you subtract the powers. It's an n. Oh, my pen's messing up again. So subtract, you have n minus 1, just gives me negative 3, right? Right, minus the n would be minus a negative 1, actually just to the 1. So you can put to the 1 if you really want to. Same here, these will reduce out to be just x. And I'm going to kind of group my n's together, because I know this is a limit as I go to infinity, highest term, that's going to go to 1. Don't forget to take the absolute value of that, that's 3. We still have the absolute value of x. So there's my ratio test. Now, in order for it to converge, remember, you must be less than 1. So the absolute value of x must be less than 1/3, which is exactly up here what they asked me to find. And that part A was worth 3 points. 3 points. Breaks down for setting up the ratio test correctly, and then actually computing the ratio test correctly, and then determining the 1/3 radius of convergence. Okay, part B. Find the first 4 non-zero terms of the Maclaurin series for f prime. Now remember, this is f, and we kind of have it set up pretty easy because we have 1, 2, 3 terms already, but they asked for 4. So before I begin, okay, I know f is x minus 3/2 x squared plus 3x cubed. I need another term, okay, because when I take the derivative, I need 4 terms. So this is x, n is 1, n is 2, n is 3. So let's plug in n is 4 there. Okay. I'll get negative 3 cubed, okay, over 4 x to the 4th. So I really have 20, let me go ahead and write the negative out there, negative 27/4 x to the 4th. Now let's take f prime. I get 1 minus, just using the power rule here, 3x plus 9x squared minus 27x cubed. And voila, that's an easy 2 points right there. Now, I'm not done with this question, but that's what most people get the 2 points for, and they miss the second part, because this is kind of very confusing as to what they're asking. Express f prime as a rational function for the absolute value of x is less than r. What? That's kind of weird, right? So what I have to recognize is that my derivative is actually geometric. You are multiplying by the same ratio every time. Okay, and remember what you're multiplying by is actually a negative 3x. Okay, so actually f prime can be written as what a geometric sequence, 1 over 1 minus r in our case. It's negative 3x, which I can clean that up to be 1 plus 3x. And that's what they're asking me. They're asking for a rational function. Remember, rational means fraction. I gave them a rational function that I know converges, okay, for absolute values less than r. Absolute value of x less than r. So a lot of people do not get this point, but I think that's an easy 2 points to get the derivative. Okay. Part C, kind of confusing one, but once again, not hard when you know what to do. So you have to know, it says, first of all, write e to the x. You have to know that one. That is one you were supposed to know anyway. You're supposed to have memorized. I'm going to write the first 4 because that's all they asked me for. Okay. Now it says use that to write a 3rd degree Taylor polynomial for e to the x times f of x. So if e to the x is all that, times, well, f of x we already have. And I'm only going to write a few terms. I don't think I need too many because it's only asking for a third degree. I'm going to FOIL. Exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'll call this g. It's what they called it in the equation. So I'll FOIL. That'll give me x minus 3/2 x squared, just distributing my 1, plus 3x cubed. Distributing my x. I get x squared minus 3/2 x cubed. I'm not even going to distribute to that one because that's going to be higher than a third degree. Okay, and then let's distribute my x squared. So that'll give me, let's see, 1/2 x cubed. Now you do need to clean that up. So I'll get x minus, combine my like terms, 1/2 x squared plus 2x cubed. 3 points for that. I believe it breaks down 1 point for knowing your e to the x, and then 2 points for getting that answer.